Welcome back to History and Freemasonry, where ancient symbols reveal timeless truths. The lost origins of Freemasonry, the hidden story beneath the modern lodge. They tell us that Freemasonry began in 1717, that 4 London lodges met in a tavern and formed the first Grand Lodge. But what if that story is only the surface, a polite mask covering a far older mystery? Behind the square and compass lies a lineage of initiates stretching back through the Templars, the ancient Hebrews, and even to the temples of Egypt itself. Writers such as Albert Pike, A.E. Waite, and W.L. Wilmshurst taught that the craft is far more than a gentleman's fraternity. Pike's Morals and Dogma declared that Masonry is the heir of the ancient mysteries, a spiritual science encoded in ritual. Waite called it a secret tradition, where every symbol hides an inner revelation, and Wilmshurst wrote that its purpose is nothing less than the rebirth of the soul within the temple of the human heart. These thinkers rejected the modern notion that Masonry was invented in the Enlightenment. Instead, they pointed to Egyptian temple rites, the mystery schools of Eleusis, and the Essenes of Judea as the true ancestors of our degrees. The building of King Solomon's temple, central to Masonic ritual, is itself a coded memory of the ancient sanctuaries of Ptah and Osiris. Even the legend of Hiram Abiff echoes the death and resurrection of Osiris, the slain craftsman of the gods. Other writers look to the Knights Templar as guardians of this secret lineage. Books like The Temple and the Lodge by Bagant and Lee, and The Hiram Key by Knight and Lomas, argue that when the Templars were suppressed in 1307, their mysteries survived in Scotland, reborn centuries later as Freemasonry. These authors claim that Masonic signs, the Holy Grail legends, and Templar architecture all encode the same celestial map. Pointing to ancient Egypt and the stars of Orion, Manly P. Hall called Freemasonry the repository of the secret teachings of all ages. He and Eliphas Levi saw its symbols, the blazing star, the pillars of Boaz and Jachin, the checkerboard floor, as fragments of a universal mystery language passed down from Atlantis to Egypt, from Egypt to Israel, and from Israel to the Temple of Solomon. Even the great historian Flavius Josephus, cited in Masonic lectures, gives details of Solomon's temple and the sacred implements that mirror our ritual descriptions. Josephus, also known as Joseph ben Matthias, becomes a bridge between scripture and Masonic legend, preserving the architecture and sacred measures of the ancient faith. Modern Egypto-Masonic rites like Memphis Misraim, championed by John Yarker and Giuseppe Garibaldi, sought to restore these hermetic roots. Their 90-plus degrees wove together Egyptian, Kabbalistic, and Templar mysteries, affirming that the Lodge is the last living descendant of the ancient schools of initiation. Taken together, these writers reveal that the so-called modern Masonic story is a simplification, a practical shell hiding an eternal philosophy. Every working tool, every tracing board, every legend within the craft is a cipher for humanity's oldest quest, the recovery of the lost word, the divine spark within. So, when a Mason kneels at the altar and takes his obligation, he is unknowingly retracing the steps of Osiris, Hiram, and every seeker of light before him. Freemasonry is not merely a society born in London. It is the continuation of a mystery that began when the first temple was built to mirror the heavens. The tavern of 1717 may have founded an organization, but the temple it built was already thousands of years old. If you find Masonic history enlightening, please like, share, and subscribe, and continue your journey in the light of the great architect of the universe. Thank you.